So I did my first session after the whole TikTok disaster nightmare, and I was so nervous doing it and sending it to his mom, but I got the most amazing feedback. So it was for a cat in spirit named Stanley, and when I connected with him, I said, "Can you tell me about your personality, Stanley?" And he said, "Stan the man." And 2 other times in the session, he referred to himself as Stan the man. I asked about his transition. He said, "They don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. They found me. I wasn't put to sleep. I was not old when I died, not old and dying with cancer. I was young, just a boy in his prime." Now, anytime I get, because I've gotten messages before that, like, the humans weren't with the animals when they passed, and I always, like, just, it's hard for me to believe that, but this was actually true. He told me that just because a life was short doesn't mean it was meaningless. It has a purpose. If he was supposed to live a long life as Stan the man, he would have, but he wasn't supposed to. So Stan the man has like 1 million siblings, like animal siblings. He's got 8 animal siblings, and I usually ask about all of them, so I did. When I asked about his dog sister, Ginger, he said Gingy was a shy, sweet girl. So he referred to her as Gingy, not Ginger. I asked about his cat brother, Romeo, and he said he's smart as a whip, bit of a troublemaker. I asked about his cat brother, Norman. He said, "Oh, he is so stupid." And I was like, "What?" And he said he's just a dumb cat, not the brightest crayon in the box, dumb as rocks, but lovable nonetheless. So then one of his cat siblings was listed as Missy/Jojo. So I asked about, Missy/Jojo, and he said, "I refer to her as Missy. Jojo is a nickname." So sent the session to his mom. She emailed me back pretty quickly. She said they always called him Stan the man. And just FYI, like, my dad's name is Stanley, and literally no one calls him Stan the man. She told me he was barely a year old when he died, and she found him laying on the floor on his side, not moving. So he wasn't put to sleep. He was found. Another thing she told me was that they always call Ginger Gingy. They call her Gingy more than they call her Ginger. And she said that her kids insist that Missy/Jojo, that her name is Missy, but she, the mom, tried to name her Jojo. So she thought it was funny that he referred to her as Missy. She told me that I described all the siblings exactly and accurately, and she told me that she wondered if Norman has some slowness in his brain, and she said that Romeo has the biggest personality of all the cats. So this was a cool session. I'm always so surprised when an animal says, like, my humans weren't with me when I passed, or they found me, because I just feel like that's got to be unlikely. But every time an animal has told me that so far, it's been accurate. So